Words are about to be spoken on the Extreme Life of Matt Hardy, presented to you by the podcast Heat Ad-Free Shows and Wrestling Corner and Alba Networks. I'm John Alba. That's the broken one, the woken one, the spoken one himself, Mr. Matt Hardy. Man, you're in a t-shirt. It's getting chilly around these parts.
It is definitely. We had some very chilly weather last night. As Maxwell and I, we declared it as the last bike ride of the summer. You know, we've been doing that. We try and do it at least once a week, maybe a couple times a week. And we'll go out and we'll ride for, you know, anywhere from a mile and a half to, you know, 2.5 miles, something like that. But it was very chilly here last night. It was almost shockingly chilly for October. But it is what it is, and I'm sure you being higher up north as you are, it was much chillier in your territory.
Yeah, man, look at me. I'm wearing my full-length green here. It's definitely chilly around these parts. Playoff baseball's in the air around here. Both New York teams going at it. I'm totally not sitting at home hate watching these games. No way could I ever be doing something like that. But yeah, man, that's great that you and Max at least got to do that. The last bike ride of the summer. Summer ended a month ago, so I'm glad that you were able to have. Yeah, I'm glad that you're able to have a little extension of that. Maybe you could teach him the merits of, you know, hiking to school uphill both ways in the snow, as
just like Jeff and I did it. Yeah, exactly.
How was your week, man? How's life in North Carolina treating you?
It's good. It's been a good week, man. Really focused on my training real hard. I was 203 this morning. Just trying to drop down and be in the best shape possible for Bound for Glory. Really channeling everything that I can towards that event. But it's been good. It's been I had a weekend at home, even though it was busy. We had this Halloween party and a lot of stuff was going on. Still, I've been able to get up and get my training in real hard every single day. So that's my deal. And I'm going to work super hard until we get out there. And I'm going to be there a little earlier because Thursday is like this worldwide press conference for Bound for Glory, and myself and Jeff are going to be on it. And then you know, obviously Saturday's the big night.
Yeah, you're eating sushi, smoked brisket from Chipotle, keeping that diet. The cardio's good, and now you're headed into Bound for Glory. Why don't you tell everyone what we're going to be seeing at Bound for Glory, because it was a pretty big announcement.
Yeah, at Bound for Glory, it is going to be a 3-way Full Metal Mayhem, aka TLC match, consisting of myself and Jeff, the Hardys, the Hardy Boys, Broken Matt and Brother Nero, however you want to coin us. We are going to be taking on ABC, the Ace and Bay Connection, who are former tag team champions, 3-time former tag team champions in TNA, as well as the current champions, which are the System, consisting of Brian Myers and Andy Edwards. And the belts are going to be suspended above the ring, and you have to take a ladder. You have to incapacitate your opponents to the degree that you can climb up the ladder and take the titles down. So this is definitely in my mind and Brother Nero's wheelhouse. So we're very excited for this matchup.
This could very well be the last time we see the Hardys in a match like this. How many more do you think you got left in you?
It very well could be. I don't know. This might be the last TLC / Full Metal Mayhem match that, you know, our old vessels can withstand. It is true. You think about that as you get a little older and you get deeper into your career, and you know there's a lot less ahead of you than there is behind you. You think about that, like, how many more of these do I have left? And yeah, this might be our last true Full Metal Mayhem match, and we're gonna go out there and give it all we've got. Jeff's been kicking ass when it comes to training. I've been kicking ass when it comes to training, and I can't stress how important it is that this last run at TNA, and especially having a great run as TNA World Tag Team Champions, and really cementing our legacy as being one of the best to ever do this, is, I can't stress how paramount it is to both of us.
Yeah. Do you still have the adrenaline kick when you do a death-defying stunt? Do you still crave that deep down?
I do. There are times where I drag before a match and I go, man, I can't wait till I get out there and wrestle, because I know it's going to kick the endorphins in. It's going to kick the dopamine in, and I'm going to feel great afterwards. You know, it's funny because that's, you know, there's really only one way to release, you know, certain chemicals in your body, and getting out in front of that crowd and being nervous and then fighting through the nerves and like cashing in on the adrenaline out there. There's no better feeling than following that match. And I'm hoping we have that feeling following the 3-way Bound for Glory match. And I hope myself and Jeff walk out as the new TNA World Tag Team Champions.
Hey, speaking of TNA, Rhino and Bob Ryder headed to the TNA Hall of Fame. What do you think about that?
I like that. I like that for Detroit, especially. I'm Rhino's a great pick, especially being from the Detroit area. You know, he's a guy that lives there, takes a lot of pride in living in Detroit now. Bob Ryder is someone that TNA, I don't know if TNA would exist in the same condition it is right now, if not for Bob Ryder. Bob Ryder was hugely influential in TNA and its formation and also its success and just keeping it alive through and through over the years. So I'm glad to see both of those guys. I know there was a big push from a lot of the boys, and I'm down with this too. Monty Brown was someone that was up for consideration, but it seemed like they were having a hard time getting a hold of Monty Brown. He's kind of off the grid, it seems like, but he would have been a really killer candidate too, considering it was in Detroit.
I think Rhino's a really good pick because 2005, when he leaves WWE, he comes in and he's immediately in the main event picture of TNA. He was one of the biggest jumps at the time. You had him, you had Christian, you had Kurt Angle follow after. He was really important in making that stuff happen, and he's had several runs in TNA where he's been effective and has done good work. He's still doing good work right now, which is awesome. And Bob Ryder, as you said, extremely, extremely important to the very fiber of TNA.
Yes.
So good
Very
to
much
see.
so.
Good to see that. Hey, you know, last year at WrestleCade, you wrestled Rhino and your boy Heath. And rumor has it that the Hardys are headed back to WrestleCade for a night outcade with the Hardys. What can you tell us?
The rumors are true. The rumors are true. Believe the rumors. This is not something a dirt sheet floated out there without confirmation. It is true. This is Matt fact. Yes, there is going to be a night out with the Hardys. They are deeming it the night outcade with the Hardys. And I'm very excited about it because myself and my dear good friend John Alba is going to be there, and we're going to be hosting a live edition of the Extreme Life of Matt Hardy right there for each and every one that is in attendance in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. You can see a live recording of the Extreme Life of Matt Hardy. And then following that, we have the rock star, legitimately the rock star in many, many capacities, come out and he does a live rock show. So Jeff is going to be doing a live acoustic set there following the podcast with myself and John.
It's going to be awesome. This is our third live show that we've done at WrestleCade. It's becoming an annual tradition, Thanksgiving weekend. This one is going to be going down Saturday, November 30th, 9 o'clock Eastern. So basically, for those who've never been to WrestleCade, or if you're not familiar, WrestleCade does a big wrestling show every Saturday night there, and this will be right after that. And your tickets can be purchased at WrestleCade.com. They are $50 for, you're essentially getting two events in one, two for the price of one, which is a great value on a show like this. As Matt said, he and I will kick off the festivities with a live podcast, and then Brother Nero will tear the house down with a acoustic concert of his own. Last year, this was we did it last year where we did a live show, and then Jeff did a concert as well. It was great. I'm very excited to see what he's got in store. That is Hardy country, is it not?
Oh my God, it is the epitome of Hardy country. You are deep, deep in Hardy country when you come to Winston-Salem.
And we'll be revealing details over the next few weeks as to what we'll be discussing at this show, and I'm looking forward to doing that. We did an Omega panel a couple years ago, which was super, super great. Last year, we did a panel all about the final deletion, and you got some amazing stories. That was a lot of fun last year.
That was such a great time. It was so fun. It was so great having a couple special guests. We had obviously my lovely wife there, Queen Rebecca. King Maxwell was even sitting in. We had EC3. We had quite the cast of characters.
So be on the lookout. WrestleCade.com is where you get your tickets Saturday, November 30th. And then also purchase WrestleCade tickets while you're there. It's an amazing convention. I feel like this is one of the biggest you do all year.
It is. It is one of the biggest. And also, I don't want to leave out the fact that myself and Jeff, we will be signing all of Saturday, and it's going to be a long day for us, but we're very, very excited about it. These
are must-see attractions. There's other live shows there too. Make sure you get your tickets now. WrestleCade.com. Matt, a few things I do want to hit on before we talk about this week's topic. Yep. Joe Koff, who is the head of Ring of Honor for a very long time, passed away this week and universally beloved throughout a lot of wrestling circles. Anything you'd like to say about his passing? You obviously had a pretty nice run in Ring of Honor yourself, and I'm sure you interacted with him.
Yeah, I did. It was very refreshing to work with Joe Koff, because Joe Koff wasn't a guy that comes from the carny business of pro wrestling, right? He's from the television industry, so he was kind of learning things as he went when he came to the pro wrestling business. But one thing that I can say about Joe, he was always friendly. It was always great to be around him, a very positive person. And anytime he made a promise to you, he would pull through with it and he would make it happen. So he was a very honorable man, someone who was full of integrity, and I really enjoyed and treasured my time working there in Ring of Honor, especially with Joe Koff. The a lot of people point back and think about whenever myself and Jeff went on the Expedition of Gold, there was that time where I showed up at Final Battle, which is their big pay-per-view. It is their Bound for Glory. It is their WrestleMania, right? At Whenever I showed up at Final Battle and popped up on the screen to address the Young Bucks, that was a promo that almost did not happen. Like, we had talked about doing a cross promotional program with the Hardys and the Young Bucks, and that was something we were planning on doing. And that's while we were in TNA and they were in Ring of Honor, and we kind of brought Ring of Honor and TNA back together from a professional standpoint. Management wise, they'd had their differences throughout the years, but myself and Jeff and the Young Bucks had kind of brought them on the same page. And they weren't sure if that was going to happen, if things were going to go through, because TNA was going through changes. Anthem had just bought them. There was a lot of moving parts to it. And I remember being over in Europe, and I was talking to them on the phone. I was dealing with John Gabrick, big, and I was dealing with Joe Koff, and they weren't sure if this was going to happen, if they were going to play it, if they weren't going to play it. Should we let them do this? Should we not let them do this? And fortunately, clearer heads prevailed. And I told them, we're going to do this. We're going to do stuff with the Young Bucks. We're going to make it work one way or the other. And they played the video. And ironically, we didn't end up doing it the fashion that we planned on doing it in the beginning, because that's when Jeff Jarrett came in and things changed. Jeff and I ended up leaving, but lo and behold, we were able to come back to Ring of Honor the month before we started with WWE at WrestleMania 33, and we still made it work. So it's one of those things that is really an insane coincidence, and it's just crazy. It's one of those things where you feel like things happen for a reason. It was unreal that things went down as cool as they did.
If you haven't heard our stories of Matt and Jeff's tag team run in Ring of Honor, WrestleMania 33 episode, go out of your way to check it out. There's some pretty good stories there, including some concern from the WWE end that Brother Nero might do something a little cray-cray. So that's an all-time great story here on the Extreme Life of Matt Hardy. Check that out, extremehardy.com.
You know one thing I wanted to add to,
yeah,
John?
Please go ahead.
The day after we wrestled the Young Bucks in the Ladder War, we did the Ladder Wars, right? We had 30 minutes with them. And as we said, there was a Michael Hayes called me. There was a Triple H that called me. Then Vince called, like everybody was just concerned that we were going to end up injured, or Jeff more specifically than me. And the next day we went to WrestleMania. The only people we smartened up were the Bucks, because we were working against them and we felt like they would need to know. So we went and we did WrestleMania. And I'll never forget the night after we won the titles, and Joe Koff texted me that night and he said, "Congratulations. We're so happy for you guys. That was an amazing moment. And thank you for coming in and being so professional with the Ring of Honor." And I'll never forget that. Always things like that stick with me so much, when, people go out of their way to compliment you on something that doesn't necessarily affect them. And Joe Koff was that kind of guy.
That's awesome. What a great story that is. And see, you can do things the professional way in professional wrestling. It doesn't have to be a carny industry. So It's great to hear that you have some fond memories of Joe, and we send our condolences here at the Extreme Life of Matt Hardy to his friends and family. Bryan Danielson.
Yeah, we got to talk about some AEW.
Dunzo, as a full-time wrestler, loses the title in convincing fashion to Jon Moxley. His Paradigm faction seemingly taking over AEW. The hostile takeover of the hostile takeover is well underway. What are your thoughts about all this, man?
I have not seen the pay-per-view. I did follow the clips. I was watching, especially online while it was going down very closely, the Private Party Young Buck stuff. I was really interested in that because, as you know, I have a very close relationship with Private Party. I'm very invested in what they do and how their future goes moving forward. And I love the fact that they went out there and killed it. They had a great match. All the feedback I saw has been really, really good. But it's one of those things. I hope they eventually pull the pull the plug on those guys and or pull the trigger on those guys, not pull the plug, pull the trigger, because I think if you're going to make those guys, you're in that window of time, which is small often, that you need to get it done, especially if you want to move them up to the next level. They're guys that's been there for 5 years since the beginning. They are OG AEW guys. I would love to see them become the World Tag Team Champions. I'd love to see them beat the Bucks and become the champions, because then that would kind of cement them as being a foundational tag team at AEW. And I would like to see that happen. But besides the fact, the thing we're talking about there, going back to your original question, the thing Jon Moxley's doing with Bryan Daniels, so I'm starting to feel it a lot now, and I'm digging it. Like, I watched back the AEW Dynamite this program this morning as I was doing cardio and I was working out and whatnot, and I noticed the crowd came up the most, and it was a boo and it was heat whenever Jon Moxley and his group would come out there and kick ass and do that. So there is some investment, and I think it's one of these things they really have to they have to focus in on this story and get a clear, definitive path of which way they're going to make it go, and try and make it have great continuity going forward. They are onto something here. I do like this, and I think this is more important. This story like this, if you can pique interest and whatnot, is more important than worrying about having a great quality of matches across the whole show.
Well, you mention all the time on this podcast how if you're a heel, you have to be willing to be hated.
Mm-hmm.
And the way that the pay-per-view went off the air, where it's a clean, definitive beatdown of Bryan Danielson, all the baby faces get destroyed, and it's just the heel standing tall, having embarrassed the top baby face. And I saw all this discourse on social media. It's like, what a flat ending, what a bummer ending. I'm like, man, you're supposed to hate a bad guy. You're supposed to hate a villain. And very seldom does AEW do a finish like that.
Right.
So to go all in and have this moment where Bane breaks Batman's back and sends him packing.
Yeah.
I got no issue with that.
No, I don't either. I was actually a huge fan of it, and I'm glad that they did that. I think they are building equity in people being invested into the product. I mean, because that is what you want. Now, if you build this force, it seems like this unstoppable force, right? The BCC, the Paradigm Group, that's going to change AEW. You work for me now. I like how Jon Moxley keeps saying like over and over. He says, "You all work for me now." Then there is a time and place to do that, and this was the right time and place to do it.
And I wonder now if it's going to be a pivot, because it certainly was teased that the whole EVP faction might end up having to save AEW at the end of the day, which would be quite an unexpected swerve, if you will. But I suppose we'll find out. What do you think of Shelton Benjamin, man? He looked great.
I did. I enjoyed seeing Shelton's match. My biggest criticism of it is I feel like they should have had Shelton had a more definitive win his first time out. I thought he looked great, and it's great for him to have a match. And we have a run in. We have Wolfgang Hardy.
It has been a long time since we've had a Wolfie Hardy.
Wolfie, what are you going to say now that you're here? Say something.
Whenever that is done, with just go and like and subscribe to Hardy Gaming.
Oh, okay. He's just wanting to plug. Ladies and gentlemen, he's plugging his channel. Okay, his Twitch channel and his YouTube channel, Hardy Gaming. Wolfie wants you to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Right, Wolfie?
Yep.
Okay. All right. We got it. It's just a plug, guys. Hardy Gaming.
Promote. Shameless promotion. We're all about it here on the Extreme. Yeah, but man, Shelton still looks amazing, doesn't he?
No, he is, and he's great. And I love the fact that they had a great match. Me personally, this is once again my opinion. Take it or leave it. I feel like Shelton should have went out and he should have been in a match that was 5 minutes, and he looked dominant. I like Leo Rush. I think he's super entertaining. I dig what he does, but I don't think we needed a 10-minute, 12-minute match, whatever it was, super competitive back and forth. I think you really needed to just shine the light on Shelton. Like, this is Shelton Benjamin. He's here. He's badass, and he's going to be a difference maker in AEW.
Certainly could be. We'll see. Hopefully there's some more to come from him, and assuming Bobby Lashley ends up coming in. I thought they did a nice little breadcrumb with the Acclaimed potentially splitting up too. I think that's good stuff. So we'll see what ends up coming out of your boy MV Pizzle's faction that he's building there in AEW. Lots of factions in AEW at this moment in time.
Yeah. Tony's a big faction guy.
Big faction guy. I think Vince was a big faction guy for a long period of time too.
There were I remember that one time when there was There was like 5 or 6 guys with like 4 people in it, like all kinds of factions going on.
Yeah, you had the corporation, you had the ministry, then you had the corporate ministry, you had the union, the Nation of Domination,
Right.
The Oddities,
Who
the Brood.
were the bikers when they were the?
I
can't recall their name.
Oh my goodness. Where
you had the Harris twins, and I want to say Brian
Adams. It was goodness gracious. You are stumping me right now. I've got it pulled up here. It was
I'm stumped too because I can't recall it.
The Disciples of Apocalypse, the DOA.
Yes, they were DOA. Yeah, Disciples of Apocalypse.
Always Howard Finkel said DOA. Yeah, DOA, man, of course.
Yeah,
that's like 1998.
Yep.
Gang wars they had in WWE.
Yeah. So when you had the Hardy Boys running around in plaid tights.
Yes, it's true. And on this week's episode of The Extreme Life, we're going to be talking about the most transformative match in your career. We're going to revisit it. But real quick before we get into all the festivities, any other thoughts you want to add from last week where we talked about No Mercy 06?
No, that was a fun episode. Always, it's always a fun, enjoyable time whenever I revisit times that I spent with Shane Helms, who is legitimately, one of my best hands one of my best friends that I would count on one hand. We have done so many great things together. We have had so many successes together. We've had so many battles together all across the world. And man, it was really a fun and enjoyable topic to talk about.
All right. Well, we got a fun and enjoyable topic this week. But before we can get to that, you know what I got to ask? Please, Matt, hit us with that Matt fact.
Matt fact. Matt is laser focused on Bound for Glory.
I think you've pretty much spelled that one out. I don't think there's a whole lot more to add on that. Could be a major, major moment in the Hardy history. Potentially the last major ladder match the Hardys find themselves in, which is crazy because as we record this, 25 years ago
today.
We are in the middle of the Major League Baseball postseason, and you know that every single day I am checking to see what the latest deals are on Game Time. That's because I want to go to the ALDS. I want to go to the ALCS. I want to go to the NLDS. I want to go to the NLCS. I'm in New York. The New York Yankees, the New York Mets are in action, and Game Time is making it easy to attend my favorite events. They'll do the same for you. Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets for your favorite live events even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. I'm telling you, it is standing room only at Citi Field these days to see what those miracle Mets are up to. But Game Time is making sure that if I want to be there, I can get there. For my money, the very best part of Game Time is the all-in guaranteed pricing. You just toggle on the all-in filter, and there's no hidden fees. There's no hidden taxes. Everything is up front for you because we love a little transparency here at the Extreme Life of Matt Hardy. With the Game Time Picks, curation makes it easier to save more on sports, concerts, comedy, theater, and anything else you want to see. With the seat views, you get a panoramic view from your seat in the app before you actually buy. The Game Time lowest price guarantee means Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference if you find a better seat elsewhere. And with Game Time's ticket coverage, your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the entire ticketing industry. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code HARDY for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code HARDY, HARDY, for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time. The No Mercy 1999 ladder match in Cleveland. Now, Matt, you may recall our very first episode of the podcast was about No Mercy 1999. The first half of the episode didn't even have any video because we had recording issues. And then Brother Nero came on for the second half. This is when you were on Boondocks internet, so we really had bad reception. And we didn't watch the match. We just talked about it. So this week we're going to watch the match. and we're going to revisit the impact of it and how influential it was. We actually did get to do a live show talking about this match in Boston at Kowloon. We had Daniel Garcia and Isaiah Cassidy come up for that. Mark Henry came up too. You never know what can happen at these live shows. And we are going to look back 25 years at the influence of the tag team ladder match. I don't know if you saw. Are you familiar with the WWE Vault YouTube account that opened up in the last few months?
Yes, I know they've been putting out some really neat gems.
They uploaded this whole match today as a way to look back on it.
Okay, great.
So first time WWE Socials has put that match back up, which I think is cool considering none of the four of you are in the company right now. Yeah. I think those barriers have kind of been broken down a bit.
Yeah.
But 25 years, man, when you realize that we're 25 years out from that historic night, what goes through your head?
It's crazy when you think about it in totality. I mean, it's been a quarter of a century since this match happened. And as you said, it was the most formative, transformational match for the careers of myself and Jeff and Adam and Jay. And just looking back, we felt we did something special that night, but we had no idea how monumental this match would ultimately become. And I feel like as time goes on now, like you see Edge, Christian, Matt, Jeff, everyone's kind of winding down. And now they're still actively competing. They're still busting their ass, but we're getting towards the end, towards the finish line, right? I feel like people look at it with a little more reverence, and I really appreciate that. And that's very cool that you said they uploaded it on the WWE Vault. I love that. I didn't even know that until you told me now. One match that I'd been thinking about like the last week or so, because I posted a video where I was doing 1.5s 450. I had a match with Jason Arndt, which ended up being Joy Abs. And we had a dark match at WWE, which probably went 8-9 minutes, but like I did all my stuff in this match, and the finish was a 452. And that is there somewhere. I want to see that one on the WWE Vault account.
Maybe we got to make some calls.
Matt Hardy versus Joy Abs.
Okay, put that out into the ether. See if someone can make some calls. That would be cool to see that match. We can maybe
manifest it.
Let's manifest it, indeed. I guess we have to look back on this and try to pigeonhole where the wheels started churning for this to even become possible to do a match like the tag team ladder match. You guys are feuding. The Terry Invitational Tournament, we've covered this at length. We know how we get there. But when do you think the powers that be really started to tinker with the idea of doing a tag team ladder match? And why do you think there may have been an appetite for it at the time?
Well, I think I'd like to go back even a little further than that.
Sure.
And initially, whenever myself and Jeff, we were working with Edge and Christian, this is before we did the makeover and joined Michael Hayes, and Michael took us under his wing. Whenever we were wrestling Edge and Christian on house shows in the tights, we were still getting these great compliments. We were getting these great reviews. All the feedback from the agents, the producers on the road that came back to JR, ultimately to Vince, if he did check out the house show reports, were extremely positive. And they said, like, these two teams have chemistry. These two teams together are special. And I think that's where it started. And then once we did the makeover, and once again, we rebranded ourselves with Michael Hayes, we're wearing the kickwear pants, the tight shirts. We started working. And then once we won the titles, we had a deal. And I think Vince said, well, we could go back to working these guys together, Edge and Christian versus the Hardys, because they do have great chemistry. They really work well together. And myself and Jeff, we had done several, I want to say probably 10 ladder matches on the indies, Surge, Matt Hardy versus Will-O-the-Wisp, Jeff Hardy. And that was kind of we would go around the whole loop and do the ladder match.
But to be clear, they were singles matches. They were not tag team matches.
They were singles matches, but we knew it was something we could thrive in because we were heavily influenced and inspired by the Shawn Michaels, Scott Hall ladder match at WrestleMania 10. And we'd always said, if as a tag team, we could work with another team that was so similar to us that we had great chemistry with, that could thrive in a ladder match environment, this is something we could do on WWE, and we think we could really steal the show and we could grab people's attentions. And then, like, once we started pitching that, after we got to work pretty regularly, we won the titles, we had a little equity, we were working on the road now as the Hardys with Michael Hayes. or Gangrel, whoever it may be, versus Edge and Christian. And we were getting bonuses for the match. They said it was still in the show every single night, and we would open up the show. That's where we started pitching like, hey, could we somehow build to a ladder match? Like maybe do a best of, or have some sort of really great story behind the motivations to get to a ladder match, whatever it may be. And that's when they ended up giving us the best of series that is going to culminate in the TIT, Terry Invitational Tournament.
The first time you guys ever face off with Edge is October 30th, 1998, where he's teaming with Gangrel at the Sun Dome in Tampa. So I believe that's on the campus of USF.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the first time you wrestle Edge on television. You had worked with Christian more hands-on at the Funkin' Dojo.
Yep.
So what is your experience like working with Edge for the first time, you and Jeff?
It was great. Both Edge and Christian, we had automatic chemistry with those guys. We thought alike. Our mind kind of processed the way we're going to work, and in the more advanced style of pro wrestling, which was a little bit faster, a little more action packed than the standard matches that had came behind, especially because we're a little smaller. But we immediately hit it off, and we immediately had chemistry. And even with Gangrel, he wasn't quite like us. He's a little older than us, right? And we didn't have quite the same chemistry with him. But when it came with Adam and Jay and myself and Jeff, we always were pretty much on the same page, and we could always we felt each other out there, and that's why it always worked so well.
Do you remember the first time you worked with Edge and Christian? I can tell you what it is. It's mind-blowing when you think about it, but I'm curious if you remember it.
I would imagine it is a house show where you have the Hardys versus Edge and Christian. If it is not, then I may be wrong. I would guess our first time listening. Yeah,
this is nuts. Please. You worked them for the first time as a tag team, February 8th, 1999. It's a Shotgun Saturday Night taping at the Sky Dome in Toronto. So the first time you wrestle Edge and Christian is in a giant ass stadium on Shotgun Saturday Night.
I do remember that. I remember that match, and it's crazy that that was our first time wrestling those guys
in Canada.
We got really in their backyard, in their Edge and Christian country. That's cool. I do remember that match. I remember being at the Sky Dome and being able to wrestle them on. And what was it on? It was on
Shotgun Saturday Night.
Shotgun Saturday Night. Right.
Yeah. Which, keep in mind, was a show that started in clubs.
Yes.
And here you are.
Yes.
Wrestling. I mean, dude, you're like, you're barely, your feet are barely wet in the industry at this point.
Right.
And you're wrestling in a stadium.
Mm-hmm.
How's that feeling?
I mean, and there was like, do you even have the attendance there? It was a big house too, because wrestling was big and hot. I remember that was like one of the biggest crowds we had wrestled in front of at that time, even though it was a TV and we're doing Shotgun Saturday Night.
I can try to find the attendance for you while we talk
Just
about
curious.
this.
But yeah, it was one of those things that I remember. It was cool. It was an honor. We were big fans of the Sky Dome because of the Ultimate Warrior and his title win, obviously. So it was a real cool bucket list moment for us to check off being able to wrestle there. And we got to wrestle Edge and Christian, who we felt like we would do good with. And we did have a really good match, and we got really good feedback following that match. Everybody in the office liked the whole lot.
Yeah, there were more than 41,000 fans, sir.
Yeah.
What a bygone era, man. I mean,
WWE just think about that. That was a random Monday night or Tuesday night or whatever it was.
WWE is doing great with attendance right now, but
yeah,
41,000 people for a Monday Night Raw is just otherworldly.
Right.
So you guys are building the chemistry. We know, we've talked about it at length. You're running through every house show during the summer of 1999, the Brood versus the Hardys, and Gangrel's involved, Michael Hayes is involved. So many great stories that we've told on this podcast. But when do you remember the idea of a tag team ladder match starting to float around? Okay, so I know you've heard us talk about Mando whole body deodorant at this point on the Extreme Life of Matt Hardy. Personally, I saw it on television for the first time, and when I saw it, I immediately had us reach out to them because I truly do believe in this product. I believe it is one of the most useful body tools out there on the market today. And why is that? Well, let me tell you why. You see, you can use Mando on your whole body. Yes, your entire body. It's dermatologist tested and gentle on all of your bits. It controls odor for 72 hours, and that is clinically proven. And you can choose from 4 cologne quality scents or even unscented if you want to get a little stealthy. I actually prefer getting stealthy with Mando because sometimes if you're wearing something that smells artificial, people are going to pick up on it. My personal favorite product from Mando are the deodorant wipes. 24-hour odor control. They're for the pits, they're for the packages, they're for the feet and beyond, and they're great for on-the-go use and travel. I'm always running in and out of New York City when I'm on television, and it gets sweaty. I gotta wear a suit. Even in the colder winter months, you gotta feel like you need a shower without needing a shower, and that's what the deodorant wipes actually help you accomplish. I cannot speak highly enough about these and several other of Mando's products. So I want to help you upgrade here to Mando because I believe that this is a product that is truly helping average Joes, professional wrestlers, athletes, sportscasters, and anyone in between feel good, smell good, or neutral if you would prefer. And I fully hope that you listen to the words that I am about to heed upon you. Mando's starter pack is perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice like the mini body wash and deodorant wipes, and free shipping. Now, thankfully, we here at the Extreme Life of Matt Hardy have a discount code to help you get hooked on our favorite smelling whole body deodorant on the market. New customers get $5 off a starter pack with our exclusive code that equates to over 40% off your starter pack in total. Use code Hardy at shopmando.com, shopmando.com.
I remember we brought it up to Adam and Jay if it was something we could get to.
So you guys had the initial idea to do a tag team ladder match.
Yeah, but they were all down. They were all down with it. They wanted to do it as well because they felt like they could thrive in that environment also. I want to say just probably around the time that we got all those bonus payoffs from JR with all the house shows, and we were really like building equity into being one of the best matches on the show, into being legitimate draws for WWE. You know, we were 4 young guys that, you know, a lot of the girls dug, and a lot of the guys dug because they liked our style and kind of how we wrestled and how we performed. So once we were starting to build a little bit of equity, I think that's when the conversation started. Like, hey, what can we do to get to the next level? Like, let's figure this out. What if we could build to a ladder match somehow? And that's kind of where the talk started between myself and Jeff and Adam and Jay.
In your head, what did a tag team ladder match look like?
I mean, it was going to look very similar to how No Mercy 1999 turned out, because we thought we were going to be able to do something that they could up the ante with what Sean and Scott Hall did, because we knew Sean and Scott Hall, they had a great match, but there was only one Sean in that match. And I felt like you had the ability to have 4 Seans, guys who could bump and take crazy bumps and fall off the ladder in crazy ways in this match. And if we did that, then that was going to really up the ante.
Did you guys ever have any direct conversations with Vince about doing this match?
Whenever we spoke with him, I know he would kind of stick his head in during our best of series, and I know I liked how they changed it a little bit. There was one time where we had a Texas Tornado match, if I'm not mistaken, and we may have had some other stipulation. I know the first 2 were regular matches, but Vince showed a little interest in us, which made us think he saw something in us for the future, that we could be some sort of attractions for WWE going forward. So yeah, there was some minute conversation. Not a ton, but you know, once he signed off on us being able to do a ladder match, I know we were very grateful for it, and I know that we were really excited for the opportunity to go out there and steal the show.
How much of a heads up did you have that you guys were going to get to do it?
Once the series had started, and a couple things changed. I think like that Texas Tornado wasn't initially going to be a Texas Tornado, but they want to switch it up. And I feel like that's one of the ideas we all originally presented. We originally said, hey, what if we do every single match is a different stipulation? Maybe even who wins the match gets to pick what the next stipulation is. I think there's a couple things we threw out there like that. And they didn't necessarily go for that. They didn't bite, but they did end up changing the stipulations during the deal. And the most important thing for us was that the finale of this whole series ended up being a ladder match, regardless of who wins. We just wanted to have a ladder match because we knew that was a match we could go out there and we could do, and nobody was going to be able to touch us. And initially, I got to say, the original plan, because we had won the tag team titles and Edge and Christian hadn't, they were going to win initially in the end of the ladder match, and Vince changed it like a couple days before.
Did you conceptualize the match as having tags, or was it always going to be tornado style?
It was always going to be tornado style. I don't think, when it comes to having a ladder match, I just feel like a ladder match is a wild west environment, and it is where everything goes. It's a Texas Tornado where everybody's fighting, just because if there's a ladder and you can use this object and you have to climb up and get the belts, it is not like a traditional match. So I feel like a ladder match just absolutely works best when there is no tags.
Now, in Vince's WWE, anything can change. So
that's true.
In the weeks leading up to it, is there any hesitance and concern that this might not end up happening ultimately?
No, as our best of series went on, the Terry Invitational Tournament, momentum grew behind us, and there was like this, there was truly a groundswell of support behind us as we did our stuff from an office perspective.
There are a lot of fun stories about what led up to this, which you can go back and listen to our first episode of The Extreme Life of Matt Hardy. I encourage you to do so, extremehardy.com. You can hear a great story about Edge barely getting to the building on time and everything else that happened leading up to it and even after the match. But we are, for the first time on this podcast, going to watch this match back 25 years after it happened. Can't believe we're here, but let's do it, Matt. You ready?
Yeah, let's do it, man.
Okay, folks. If you would like to queue up the cock and watch with us, Peacock, No Mercy 1999. We just got out of a segment, and now we're headed into the Edge and Christian entrance here in Cleveland, Ohio, which I believe was the Gund Arena at the time.
Yes, it was the Gund Arena.
So we're going to start in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here we go. The classic panning shot of the Edge and Christian entrance. I always thought that was a fun little touch that they had in their entrance.
Yeah.
Where the cameras would kind of search for them.
Yeah, I did. I thought they were presented really well. I dug their entrance. It was very different from anyone else on the show.
This is a match that, again, we're talking about was weeks in the making at this point.
Right.
I know that you're putting a lot of the match together that night, but had you been brainstorming ideas in the weeks leading up?
We've definitely been brainstorming ideas in the last week or so, without a doubt. Once again, and I know we talk about this once in a while, it's so great to look when you see that wide shot of the crowd, all the signs that were out there. Signs were just such an iconic part of the crowd shots when pro wrestling was going down in the Attitude Era.
So now you can just tweet it out or zine it out.
Right.
You don't even need a sign. Half those signs you wouldn't be able to bring into the building these days.
That is true. It was this was a very exciting moment. I remember seeing these guys make their entrance, and Jeff and I, we were taking, our big deep breath, getting ready to walk out through the curtain, like, okay, here we go. This is our chance to either make it or break it. Like,
that's what I was going to ask you. Like, first off, you get the coolest entrance in wrestling history, but you've got make or break here. You're not Shawn Michaels. You're not Scott Hall, right?
Right.
Like, this is truly make or break. If you guys fail,
yes,
that's it.
Yep. Yep.
No, you're right. Way?
No, we knew if we didn't go out here and if we didn't hit a home run, that it was going to be a problem.
We got a gothic baby running.
Yep. Go outside, okay? You're naked. You're going to get in trouble. Go outside. No. Okay, I see you have undies. Go outside and put them on, all right? Okay, thank you, baby. So yeah, we did. We definitely we were very aware of the fact that like this was a big opportunity for us. And if we go out here, we hit a home run, we hit a grand slam, then our career moves forward. If we fail and we drop the ball and we strike out, we move backwards. And that was very important. We knew that were the consequences and stakes of this match.
$100,000 allegedly in the bag. Do you remember what was actually in the bag?
Yeah, there was about probably $20,000 of counterfeit money, so it would look like the bills.
Okay, all right.
They had some bills in there. Here we go. This is the push. This is the start. This is the famous thing. Jeff goes 1 second ahead of me. Boom, and my net goes underneath the top rope.
Yeah,
and
it's like immediately this thing is off to a rough start.
Yeah, and I was just like right there. I remember like being freaked out. And I'm like, "Fuck, Matt, get it together. We're fine. We're okay. We're fine." But that was one of those things. That was a good learning experience for me right there, because like it's easy to kind of get into those scenarios. Oh, good job, baby. Good job. Okay, I'm busy doing something. Go outside, play with your mother. Okay. All right. Somebody come get Evie. And we're here trying to watch this match back. Sorry, guys. And yeah, I just remember keeping a level head and going like, hold up, this is just the beginning of the match. We're okay. We haven't crashed. We're gonna be good. And I was able to keep that positive mentality throughout.
Are you talking to the referees beforehand and being like, guys, just sit back and let it be?
I think the biggest thing that we wanted from the refs at this juncture was the times, because we were also on a very tight time constraint, right? And one of the most important things with this match, especially when you have a whole bunch of spots planned with inanimate objects, it's really easy to lose track of your time and go over or go light or whatever it may be. But it was really important for us to show that we were professionals and that we could do this on live TV and nail our time. So we were very much on top of the ref, asking what the time was constantly, and everybody was communicating this to one another.
So you're building a spot, and right here you ask Gangrel to go get the ladder, and he goes to do it, and then Tim White throws him out. So
yes,
that's your way of just stripping it down and making sure the focus is on the four of you guys.
Well, that was an edict from Vince right from the beginning. He said he doesn't want Gangrel out there because it's an anything goes match. He said we want to get rid of him early, just come up with a good idea, a way we can get rid of him. So we were following, the boss's orders. And it made sense, because when you're out here and this is a tornado tag, why wouldn't he interfere the whole match? So it was important to get him out. The Jimmy jump, as we so lovely called that to one another constantly. Like Jay really had a legit name for that. And then because they called my legs, because I have those odd hips that, my hips are, physically wider than most people's. And he would call the Jimmy legs. Both Adam and Jay would call my legs the Jimmy legs. That was the Jimmy jump. And we labeled that. And that's what we'd call that internally every single time Christian would do it.
He was a great athlete back in the day, man.
Yeah, before skills diminished. Before all his skills diminished.
And he needed all those. He needed all that help from all these other cretins. Nick Wayne. Hope Luchasaurus is doing well, by the way.
Yes, we do. Big shout out to Luchasaurus. A guy I got a lot of love for. He's a funny guy.
Jeff
this was the spot right here where we first heard the crowd, and the crowd came. Like we were like, when Jay ran up and drop kicked Jeff, the crowd reacted in a little bit of a different way, a way that they didn't typically react with us. We're like, whoa, that was unique, because that wasn't a spot that was like outwardly complicated or crazy. Hi, Barty. We're watching a match. We're talking about it.
Now here they go doing their own version of poetry in motion.
Yes, and that backfires. And you even see how Adam tried to stop the ladder from falling, both on him and me there. That's one thing that's very tough when you're in these matches with inanimate objects. I mean, you also have to worry about them and how they fall and where they're going to land and if someone's going to be falling on them. And it's very important to protect one another.
Was the plan going in to use just one ladder?
Yeah, I mean, we were going to start. We were trying to build.
That was Jeff Hardy.
That was Jeff Hardy. You're right, Barty. That was brilliant commentary. And you see the crowd. The crowd is coming every time we're doing something new and innovative. They are starting to come more and more because they've never really seen anything like this. And we could feel that energy. It was palpable in the arena.
The crowd was coming all night for this.
Yeah.
You said you would come the other day, bruh.
I'll be visiting you, Barty. Don't worry.
He's
I'm gonna come hang out.
He's going to see you in Winston-Salem very soon.
Can't wait.
No, you're not, but
No, I am. I booked the tickets.
He is. He's coming. All right. You know what, Barney?
you never go come.
Are you going to buy him the big barbecue rib?
I'm gonna buy him a hot dog with extra hot sauce.
Okay, I'll take it.
All right. Okay, let me finish this, Barty. Okay. See you, buddy.
So yeah, I mean, you took a big power bomb off the ladder there.
Yes.
And now it feels like you guys are we're trying to wow the crowd. And I mean, Jeff barely connects on that shotgun drop kick from.
Jeff was very worried about that. He thought Adam had set the ladder out a little far. It was initially supposed to be in a little tighter, but Jeff got his jump on there.
So.
And even the way we're doing this, like we started like with one ladder, we wanted to utilize it as a weapon a lot, but like we still want to do all these new innovative things. And each time we started doing a spot, we tried to make it a little bit bigger. And now we have Jeff coming off the top, and we're using the ladder as a weapon to still kind of crush our opponent right there.
Yeah, and you see those guys in the front row. I mean, they're in it.
Yes, it was great because just the crowd truly was invested, and we tried to not make everything so big so that we did have time to sell from how we were being taught. Even like, with this, we whip him into the ladder, he gets the poetry in motion into the ladder, so it is a little more aggressive. We've kind of upped the ante a little bit, and it's going to hurt him a little more, but also it's something that's not going to kill him, where he can still come back.
There is psychology to it too, because we saw them try to do that move. It didn't work. So now you do a call back to it, and it actually works because it's your guy's move.
Yes. That is affectionately known as the whacker, and it is always stuck that way. If both teammates grab a ladder and just mow somebody down by hitting them across the face or chest.
Here we go. This is one of the most memorable spots of the match right here.
And once again, this is just when Jeff just gets in cool mode. He's just a cool ass rock star. Just everything about what he does here.
The leapfrog over the ladder, and the crowd.
That reaction to the crowd.
Yeah. I mean, that's the first standing ovation of the match.
Yeah, it was a super, super cool deal.
And, when you're in the ring at this moment, you've got them.
Yeah.
Does that make it harder to finish the match, or does that make it easier?
Well, that makes it easier, but I mean, also, it's still going to be a challenge. You have to keep them. You have to keep getting hit every time you go to bat. You have to keep them. It's important not to do something, because you can very easily do something and fail, and then the crowd is not into the match. They can be taken out of the match very quickly. They can be taken out of the match a lot more quickly than it takes them to get into the match.
The NBA is finally back. A new season means new ways to get into the action at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. Who's draining threes from beyond the arc? Who's crashing the boards and getting rebounds? Get behind your favorite players and the prop bets you can make on DraftKings, the home of NBA player props. First time? New DraftKings customers bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Every point counts with DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code HARDY, that's code HARDY for new customers, to get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-78-97-777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, Kansas, 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in New Hampshire, Oregon, Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gambling resources, see dkng.co/bball. You are taking quite a beating here.
Yeah. So once again, it was almost, I feel like a little bit of a shine session for us, kind of as the heels, more or less in this match, even though we didn't have a ton of heat or whatever else. And now we're at that point where they're using the ladder as a weapon, and they're beating us up in different and creative ways. And that was kind of our mentality.
But what's crazy about it is, if you're watching this cold, it's pretty hard to tell who the baby faces and the heels are.
Yeah, I mean, you can't, and it's like we didn't have a ton of heat. I mean, with our style and the way we wrestled, and we were just getting over. We were still pretty often cheered, but when we worked with these guys, typically we were booked in the heel slot in the match. So we did what we could do to kind of be heels. Once again, here we go. We're going for the whacker again. This is a good callback. I do love this spot. This is one of my favorites. Very simple idea, and Jay jumps off with a crossbody and takes us down.
It's got to hurt him more than it hurts you guys.
Yes, I would imagine it did. But yeah, it is one of those matches where at the end of the day, in this particular match, at this particular time, it really didn't necessarily matter if one team was good and one team was bad. Because if one team was cheered, one team was booed, because we were out there doing stuff that was kind of breakthrough that people have never seen before. And we're like doing all this new innovative stuff with ladders in a ladder match with 4 guys in it, which had never been done before. So we just got a lot of respect for this. And I feel like this is why this match is so revered.
Did anyone think about the possibility that the ladder could break on a move like that?
Yes.
Okay.
And
one of my favorite spots. I love this so much.
Yeah, this is good. A little tag move they did. So the hinge on this one ladder was bent real bad and broke. And I want to say Jay is telling Jeff, like, oh, this ladder, we got to get another ladder. We got to get another ladder. And Jeff said, no, I can fix it. And if you watch Jeff, I think he's rolling
right here.
Yeah, and you see Jeff is actively trying to like fix this hinge while the camera's not on himself. He's down. You can tell he's like trying to bend it up. He's trying to like straighten it out so that we can still use this ladder. And it was cool that they shot away from there so that they didn't see it as much. But I remember Jay said, we got to get another ladder because there was another one under the ring. He said, this ladder's broke. Jeff said, I can fix it.
Did he successfully fix it?
He fixed it enough that we could use it.
Enough. Okay.
Yeah. If you look at the hinge right there, you can still see how it's all jimmied. It's all banged up and bent. But Jeff fixed it enough so that it would open all the way.
The Shawn Michaels Razor ladder match, they only had one ladder.
Yeah,
like there wasn't a backup. If that ladder went, they had no way to end the match.
Yeah, that's a hell of a risk. I don't know if they thought that one through or not, but that's a hell of a risk. Or either someone had insane confidence in those 2 guys out there that they were going to protect the ladder and keep it in one piece.
I know this is something that's just very much like 90s wrestling fan aesthetic preference, but I love those black ladders, man. Those black ladders, yeah. I associate them so much with you guys over the ones we have now. Not that they're any different, but
yeah, the old black 8-footers,
pre-super ladder.
I remember very vividly when they were painting them that day, early that morning, right when we first got there.
Just spray painting them.
Yeah. Spray painting them because they came generic as they were after buying them, like heavy duty ladders where you could walk on both sides, and they were out there painting them black. And they said, "Oh, is black good with you guys?" I said, "Black is perfect, please. We're going to be out there rocking black. We're all about it."
So we built kind of a quasi double down here into the match.
Yeah. You can see right now everybody is selling a lot more than we were during the other periods where we're trying to, we were trying to do things that guys could literally recover from, and they could still get up and still go. But now we're getting into the point where we're dropping bigger bombs, and you see everybody is selling a whole lot more as they're going through the match.
Struggling at the top. What goes up must come down.
Yeah. And once again, the crowd. I love how that front row, they just stand up every single time.
They had never seen anything like this. It's so different.
Yeah.
Unless you're watching ECW religiously at the time, which I don't know that every WWF fan was watching ECW religiously.
Yeah.
You're not used to seeing stuff like this.
Adam got me with that ladder shot pretty good. I was able to dodge, but at first I thought he like chopped my ear off. It was tight because it was in there because I was going to take it to the head and go out of the ring, but it was tight.
Sign up something a little dangerous here.
Yeah, here we go. The first of its kind again. And once again, Michael Hayes is the guy who was ultimately responsible from this because, he said, what if a guy jumps off and it sends the other guy flying through the air? And we kind of joked about, oh, it's kind of like a cartoon. I don't know if we can do that. But, this is where the idea was formed from out of that, utilizing him throwing out that wild idea.
And I like that it's a tease. It's going to be a giant superplex too.
Yeah. Yeah. Because actually that superplex on the shoulders looks so good. We both look like we got popped and dropped. Something that I like so much is that myself and Venom, I was talking about Joy Abs earlier, Jason, we had one of our finishing moves as a tag team. We were V-Force because he was Venom and I was High Voltage. And our finish was I would sit on his shoulders and I would give the guy a superplex off the top. And Edge and Christian started using that after we offered up that move to them. So they were like teasing doing that right there, which is a move that myself and Venom did in Omega all the time.
I love the guy in the front row is bowing to you guys there.
Yeah.
Saying we're not worthy. You know what's really cool too? Small camera thing. They keep after every big spot, they pull out a little bit so you can see the crowd coming up.
Yeah. Which is huge. I mean, it's very important to, if this match is shot a different way, you don't get that effect as much, so it isn't very important that they show the crowd like this.
Did you guys hit your time totally on this?
We did. Yeah, we were on time for this.
Did you feel like you were given enough time to do what you wanted to do?
I think so. We seem to be happy with everything, and yes, to the best of my recollection, we were happy with the time. We knew what we had quite a ways out, and we were comfortable with it. And we thought we had enough great content to fill up that time appropriately.
Feels here like you guys are headed towards the home stretch.
Yeah.
What I always say, Christian,
there you have
the
it.
elite rope crotcher.
He's a good one.
He's all elite, baby.
He is a good one.
Now we get our last true double down of this match, and the crowd is just going nuts here.
Yeah. That's a great shot. Through the ladder, through the rungs.
Jeff. All standing ovation.
Yeah.
It's just, you know what plays into it, Matt? I think it's that no one expected it.
Yeah. Of course, yeah. Yeah, no one did expect this. I mean, I don't think anyone expected us to elevate the insanity from the original ladder match of Shawn Michaels and Scott Hall this much, but we went out and, like I said, we had 4 guys that could literally go out and kind of play the role of the Shawn Michaels guy who can be a big bump guy who can do a bunch of crazy things. So that was something that we had to our advantage.
Did you get the sense that they were, by they, I mean Edge and Christian, that they were realizing that this was going as well as you guys felt it was?
Oh yeah. Yeah, they knew, we all did. We were all vibing. We're like, yeah, shit, yeah, we got them. See, we're going. We're good. Take your time.
Are you saying that to each other in the match?
Oh yeah. Yep. We can take our time. We don't have to rush. We got our time. We got him. That was said many times throughout the match. We got him. This was Jeff's idea.
And that ladder almost goes over right there. Yeah. Oh man, imagine how anticlimactic that would have been.
Yeah, that would have been a crazy deal.
There we go.
And just that big unnecessary fall. And it's so crazy how that became so iconic, because that became like the fall if you win in a ladder match, if you pull the bag down. And this is me and Jeff legitimately like getting the bag. We got the bag, and it changed the course of our career.
It didn't just change the course of your career, Matt. It changed the course of wrestling history.
It did. It did in many ways.
I mean, EC3 has said to you, he was at this match, he was at the show, and it inspired him to want to become a wrestler. There are thousands and thousands and thousands of people who have tried to recreate those spots in their trampoline in the backyard.
Right.
That they had at the time. You remember how big backyard wrestling was at the time?
Oh yeah. Massive.
It was
massive.
For better or for worse, it was huge.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was one of those things, WWE, it was mandatory. They had to put up, don't try this at home, because so many people tried it at home.
Who among us would ever think to do something like that? Who among us wouldn't do a swanton bomb off a banister onto a couch? Never have I ever done anything like that.
Look at us. Look at us. Who'd have thunk it? Not me.
Not me. No, it lays the groundwork for everything, man. And it's the genesis of this podcast. It's the genesis of what leads to TLC, or the Triangle Ladder match, and TLC 1, TLC 2, TLC 3, and everything that has come since, and when you think about it, Matt, think about how many ladder matches have made people's careers since. You four are responsible for that.
Yeah, that's super humbling, and it's crazy. Sometimes I don't think the impact of how big this match was still resonates with all of us as much as it will ultimately, but still, like, thinking back to how big of a deal this was, it's a mind-blowing thing, and we were just happy to get the opportunity. We were 4 young, hungry guys that just wanted to go out there and, like, earn our stripes and show the people in WWE, show the world that we could do something different and that we belonged. And man, we made such a huge difference that day in the wrestling industry. It's hard to believe, in all honesty.
Forget even TLC. Look at it from the perspective of Money in the Bank, because I don't think Money in the Bank happens without the No Mercy tag team ladder match, the multi-man ladder match. Think about how many careers have been made from Money in the Bank.
Right.
Indirectly, even connecting to No Mercy. Bryan Danielson. Daniel Bryan wins Money in the Bank. He defines the Yes character, everything that goes on with him. Damian Priest just has his WrestleMania moment this past year that he cashes in. CM Punk wins that thing twice.
Right.
Women have gone on the Money in the Bank gimmick and made their careers.
Edge winning Money in the Bank.
Edge winning Money in the Bank changed the trajectory of his career. And all those matches are rooted within what happened in this tag team ladder match.
Yeah. No lies detected. I mean, it was a huge deal. And I think we're all very grateful that we were given this opportunity to go out there and show our stuff. And
I'm not sure if 2 other teams or 4 other guys got the same opportunity that it would have been as memorable.
Agreed. I mean, because once again, the working style was very different in that day and age. So there was only, I don't know if there's 2 other teams that could have made that same kind of magic happen in a match like that. Besides,
if you put the LOD and the DOA in that match, we're not talking about this thing.
Right.
It's just true. It's just the reality, right? Like it's just not happening.
Right.
It's just, it needed.
If you put the Acolytes and Too Cool in it, not happening.
No, a lot of life is about right time and right place. And you guys were all there together at the same time in the right place. And it changed wrestling history. And 25 years later, I don't know where we'd be. I don't know where some of these independent wrestlers would be without this. Leon Slater is about to face Mike Bailey at Bound for Glory. A guy like Leon Slater and Mike Bailey probably aren't finding the success they're having if not for the No Mercy tag team ladder match. There's so many what ifs.
When Leon Slater first met Jeff, it was a huge deal for him. Jeff was his guy, right?
You're getting choked up. You're getting verklempt.
I am, yeah. Yeah, I just swallowed something the wrong way. Leon Slater was such a huge Jeff guy.
Okay, no worries. We got the kid running.
No, in this party, of course. Leon Slater was such a huge Jeff guy, and just whenever he met Jeff, it was like a big mark out moment for him. And he was a huge fan of the Hardy Boys, but obviously his favorite was Jeff. You look at his Swanton 450 and the stuff he does. Like I told Leon, I remember when we were in Vegas for TV the night after I debuted, that Jeff saw his clip and said, like, "Oh my God, this guy's awesome, man." He said that about me, and he was just, he was so excited about hearing that. It was amazing. So yeah, it's crazy. It's insane just how many people we have influenced throughout the years. It really is crazy.
So congratulations on 25 years since this match. Is absolutely amazing. And who knows? Seems like the Hardys might have at least one more left in the tank. They might have one more left in the tank here with this Full Metal Mayhem match at Bound for Glory.
Yeah, we definitely have one more left in the tank, and if it is our last one, we're going to go out in a blaze of glory, and we're going to give it everything we have.
I love to hear that. Well, we love to see you guys join us here. AdvertiseWithHardy.com. Promote your business to the extreme. Get it out in front of thousands of listeners and viewers every single week on the Extreme Life of Matt Hardy. ExtremeHardy.com is where you can find us in the archives. And by the way, if you're watching via YouTube, you can get that little QR code, or you head over to boxgimmicks.com. We love seeing when fans send us their Extreme Life of Matt Hardy swagger, the swag that they get with it. Man, it's beanie season. You know that?
It is beanie season, yeah.
It's beanie season. I want to give a proper shout out because we've gotten so many great tweets in the last week, or Zeets, whatever you want to call them, too. Elko Rye putting us over, which I always appreciate. Josh Henney, your boy, throwing some love for your new Hardy merchandise as well. And I want to get this exact one because we had someone send us a picture of their Extreme Life of Matt Hardy beanie that they picked up over at boxofgimmicks.com, which was honestly just so freaking cool. I'm going to find it. I'm going to share it again too. But man, this is that weird time of the year. The weather's changing.
Yeah.
And you got to find ways to keep warm. I highly encourage you. We got the sweaters there at the boxofgimmicks.com store. Just search the Extreme Life of Matt Hardy. And I guarantee you guys that you'll find something that you will like. Anything else you want to throw out there, Matt?
No, man. Once again, it's just such a humbling. It's just such a humbling feeling to reflect on the things we've been able to do in our careers. You know, speaking for myself and Jeff, and just looking back at this match, it just always makes me happy and just makes me feel very blessed that we were given those opportunities and we were able to take advantage of those opportunities and succeed. And it's a great inspirational, motivational story for anyone out there. We're two kids from North Carolina that had no ties to pro wrestling. We didn't know anyone in the industry. We had no way in. We didn't have anyone that was going to help us. And we just, we believed in ourselves. We busted our ass. We worked hard. We worked very hard, and we gave it all we got. And it just shows that dreams can come true.
It was Max MF Brand who shouted us out with that beanie. I want to give him a proper shout because I was a big Hardy podcast fan. So thanks to that, Max. You're right, man. Two kids from Podunk, North Carolina, as you said. Made it nice and big. Was that Barty saying the yes?
Yes, I think it was. All right, Barty, come over here if you're going to say something.
Barty can help us sign off here.
Come here and sign off.
Okay. Barty, can you hear me?
Can you hear?
No, not.
Put on your headphones. Can you hear?
Put on head. Barty, can you hear me?
Can you hear?
No.
Okay. Well, Barty, what you're going to do, he's going to help us here as we sign off every single week in the same way. The words have been spoken. We'll see you next time right here on the Extreme Life of Matt Hardy.
We're going to do delete. You ready? Delete!
What would you do with 2 house payments? Tony Schiavone here to tell you about SaveWithConrad.com. When you refinance with Save with Conrad, you can do so with confidence, knowing not only will you get a great rate, but you will get to skip 2 house payments. You don't need perfect credit, and there's no money out of your pocket. Find out how we can help you skip 2 today at SaveWithConrad.com.
NMLS number 2129, Equal Housing Lender.
SaveWithConrad.com.